explain to us, how does, just give us an overview of the brain.
Okay, there's lots of possible ways to think about the brain. And you can think about it in movement ways and emotional ways, and there's all kinds of ways that we can organize it. One cool way was proposed by this guy in the 1960s. His name is McLean, Dr. McLean. And he proposed kind of 3 bits of the brain, 3 ways of looking at the brain. So let's do this together, because it will help you to remember. So if you fold your thumb across like this right in here would be representative of the reptilian brain, or the reptilian complex. And this part of the brain here, and say reptilian, just say reptilian. And now you'll remember it better. It's things like your heart rate and your breathing, balance, withdrawal reflexes, all kinds of different things that are really basic animal behaviors. And it's really good. It's quite rigid. It does the same thing over and over again.
That's good if it's your heart rate.
Yes.
But it's rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want it sort of finicky.
No. Yeah. So and actually, if there's damage to the brainstem, then you're very quickly die.
Okay.
So that's the reptilian brain. Now, if we wrap our hands around like this next part is the limbic brain. Say limbic.
Limbic.
Okay. And the limbic brain is a bunch of structures. You can see them outlined in gray there, and involving things like the amygdala, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus. And these are things that regulate learning, and it's very much the seat of our emotions. There's memories that are formed in here. And so it's kind of like the next group of structures up. Then, if you take your hand over the back and you wrap it over top like this is like the outer part of your brain, the neocortex. Neocortex, good. Someone over there.
Yeah, neocortex.
Well played, well played. And the neocortex is the part of our brain, it's your personality, it's the decide-y bits of your brain, it's the part of your brain that will write a symphony, it's the part of your brain that will make connections between different ideas. So it's higher level functions.
Higher consciousness.
Yeah.
Is more language.
Yeah, there's language in there. There's all kinds of things. Yeah, there's really no language down in your limbic brain or your reptilian brain.
Okay.
Squeaking. If you squeaked if someone stepped on you, then that would be maybe reptilian, but and maybe mouse-like too. So
we've got a frog inside. I've got a nice little creature, like my inner Coco.
Yes.
A little puppy.
Yeah.
And then I've got the.
Well, actually, Coco kind of goes this far.
She comes out
here.
to that part too? Okay. Yeah. Well, you'll be introduced to Coco next week, hopefully. Okay, well, let's talk then about how does learning happen? We've been talking, I've used the image of the bike.
Yeah.
From a neuroscientist point of view, what's going on there?
Okay, so learning doesn't just happen in your brain. It happens, and you've got neurons all over your body. In fact, you've got them in your gut and your spinal cord, way out in your limbs. And those neurons, they actually can change the strength and frequency of their signals depending on what's going on.
Okay.
So if you're sitting out there right now, and if you think now about the fabric of your clothing on your arm, all of a sudden you'll become aware of it. But your brain, and not only your brain, but the neurons right here, they'll actually turn down those signals. And so they're learning on a millisecond to millisecond basis. And very quickly they will change the strength of their connections with each other. But in our brain, there's more complex interactions because there's more neurons.
Right.
And so the strength and frequency and even new connections can develop between adjacent neurons and adjacent brain areas, and that's partly what learning is. Learning is based in the brain, particularly, there's a form of learning called associative learning that is based on memory, previously stored events, like riding your bike, for example.
Right.
And then it will base new things on the old stuff. So I like to think of learning as finding an old coat hook for a new coat. And when you put the new coat on, so you've got something that you had before, and then you've got the new thing and you hang it on.
Right.
And that's learning. And learning is always a relatively permanent change in behavior. And that's a very important thing.